everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to Kit Krunch, and today we are going to continue to play with this beautiful Bow Bunny paper along with this Michael's Recollections Thankful Heart paper pad. So that is absolutely a great way to start a kit. Buy a couple pieces of paper at that 99 cents that is just really speaking to you, and then add it to an entire paper pad that you already have in your stash. How fun is that? So what we're going to do is we're going to play with something fall-like, but it's not going to be fall. It's going to be all about wood and building with wood, and I am so excited because I have a couple precious photos that are from my brother and his wife and their woodworking shop. So I'm just so excited, and a couple creations that they make. They're just very talented, and to be a very talented couple, that's a bonus. So I am going to once again play with this Bow Bunny paper. And so then what I thought I would do is talk about mood and feel in this little bit of an intro, because I get asked that quite often. And so I just recently got asked again if I could show a couple more videos about mood and feel. And so that's what I'm going to do. So what I have is my photos here. Of course, that's the inspiration for everything, my story and the papers that I pick and the embellishments that I choose, all that good stuff. So this is the paper I'm going to use because this was the kit starter, but I'm only going to use a portion of it, so maybe I can use it again next week in our kit flip. And so then I wanted to show that with the pieces I had left over from last week. Now, since this was my 99-cent sheet of paper, I won't get rid of these scraps until I'm absolutely done with them, because you know you are paying 99 cents. So then a couple of these this is just cardstock. When I have small scraps like this, and I think I may still want to put them in a kit, do you know where I put them? I put them in an embellishment, in with my embellishments, because I think if you put them in with paper, I think they tend to just get lost. So that's just one of those little hacks that I do. Those little pieces of paper, stick them in with the embellishments, because then you kind of look at them as an embellishment, not just a small scrap of paper. And so this is what I have left over from last week. I don't think I'll be playing with either one of those, but because we are talking about wood, you know I'm going to be playing with one of these wood grains, so I might as well pick one right off the bat. So let's talk about mood and feel. So here are the papers that I'm playing with. Let me move something for a minute. And so this is what I'm playing with. So I'm just going to pick out a piece of wood that is also going to go with my photos. So that is how I'm starting. And there is no wrong way for any of that. It's just the one that's going to give me the mood and feel I want. And the why, I'm going to pick this lighter one. First of all, it's Cardabella, so of course it just feels better. It's a nicer piece of paper. But then also too, if you can see in my photos, the wood is a light wood. So I'm going to pick the lightest wood grain I have. So that just helps with my mood and feel. Absolutely. Okay. So then, as I pull out the paper pad, what am I going to pair with these two pieces of paper for this mood and feel? And of course, what is fun is that my bro has on kind of like a greenish type apron in his wood shop. And so I'm going to play off of that green. You know, I had to get it in here somewhere. Yes. So if I open up this paper pad, when I did the flip in this, when I made the kit, I know that there's a paper in here that is jadeite green. And here we go. Because anytime I see plaid, buffalo plaid, I think of me growing up, my childhood, my brothers, my dad, everybody. Now there were some other options in there. And of course, plaid and aprons. Yeah, you see the correlation there. There is also some of that jadeite green. I call it jadeite green. See, some people call it a mint green. Is that a jadeite green? I can't. Oh, yes, it is. That's like a very light mint green. That's got some gold foil. Now, since I am doing a layout about wood, I really don't want to get into metallics. I want to stay with everything wood. But there is, again, there's that color. And I know there was another piece somewhere. That as well. Okay, that's definitely masculine. But in my photos, I don't have just one guy. I have a guy and a girl. So I want to keep that also in the back of my mind. So these are the three pieces of paper I'm going to play with, and that is how simply that process is, really, mood and feel. So of course you see I have this deer and the tree. Of course this is like a fall paper, but this really doesn't have to be just for fall, because for my family, wildlife is a huge part of our life. And so of course for my brother there, wildlife is a big part, so that just goes along with his personality. I got this jadeite green, of course goes with his paper and his woodworking apron, and then this light, almost like a bleach blonde wood. That's what I'm going to play with. So I can move my paper pad, because that is how quick that process is. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with this page map sketch from April 2019. I'm going to have the link below so you can see I only need 3 pieces of paper. That's it. Because my focus is going to be on the photos, because I do have 4. I have 2 4x6, and then I have 2 wallet, and I really want all 4 of these on this layout, because that's what it is. It's showcasing my brother and his wife in their woodworking shop, and then also too the beautiful things that my brother creates. He's just ingenuity, talent. That's my siblings. I mean, it just really is. So since I have this topic of wood, okay, now this is woodworking, but it's wood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the items from my kit that gives me the mood and feel to play with that wood element. So I'm going to just start picking some things. And of course I had my wood grain washi. Why not? Yes. And then of course anything brown. So there is Prima ink. And I do have this twill. Now, I could use this as a subtitle. It says Cherished Memories. I just have it laying there. And then, of course, I have craft photo corners. I have wood grain enamel dots. Let's just keep on going. Yes, and then, of course, I have these wood grain. No, not wood grain. How about wood veneer? Now, I don't know which pieces I would use, but this is what I mean by representation. Just because I have this in my kit, that doesn't mean I have to use this. I can always go find something that's more pertaining to my story if I wish to. And especially like if I could find something that had to do with a house or a home, because they are building. Okay, so that's just a representation. And then of course, any of these, the twine would work. Gonna skip the doilies. Yeah, that's a little too dainty. But the mood and feel of these wood grain sequins, that is perfect. And then of course I have these little pebbles wood grain stickers, so you can see I have a wood grain thing going on. And then I did see a couple well, let's just keep on going with the wood grain. I have these wood grain My Mind's Eye alpha sheets. That was part of my kit starter, so I will pull all of those. But look at that, wood grain, wood grain, wood grain. So you see what my theme is, wood grain. Okay, and then I have also these brown mega yes, jumbo size alphas. And I think what I'm going to do, I was trying to think of a title when I was pulling out these photos, and sometimes when I print photos I think of my story and my title. Does anybody else do that? And sometimes I will make notation as I'm printing photos on a piece of scrap paper. So I thought, since I could use these, and I thought I would just do a mega title. I haven't done that for a while. Well, last week, yeah, remember, that was one word in that wood veneer. But I was thinking like build, or I don't think I'm going to do wood. And I'll tell you why. When I pick my title, I'll tell you why I'm not going to use the word wood, which would be perfect because they're woodworking. Okay, so I'm definitely going to use that alpha. I'll put this here. I'm getting quite the selection. And then what was the last thing I had? Well, I have some stamps, and I saw this tree. So I thought I could do some stamping or embossing. Not quite sure if I'm up for that today. Some days you want a quick page, some days you want a more detailed page. So it depends. I may do that. Let me pull out my embossing powder in case I get a bee in my bonnet and I decide to do that. I know it's in here. So in what color would it be? It would be this yellow. See, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. We'll play with it. And then of course I picked out my extra bag of jadeite green. This would be my finishing touch because I don't want to use brown on everything. And then I have one more item, which is, oh, I have some flair. What is my flair? Oh, wait. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hold the phone. I have a piece of, this is, I think it's an old My Mind's Eye. It says Traditions. It's in that green. That would be really pretty because my dad is a woodworker. all my siblings, my bros are all woodworkers, build houses, they can build anything. And then my grandfathers, both of my grandfathers were seriously build anything. So traditions, I think that word would be good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, happy accident. And so then the one thing I didn't play with in last week's Kit Krunch was I had my fall binder. So I wanted to show you what I would do and what I do when I have something of this magnitude of this binder. How do I pull items? And let me get a piece of wax paper because that's what I do. So if you want to hang on, absolutely. If not, go to the FFO and you'll see a finished layout. So I'm going to go to my fall section, which is in here in the back. And so I have nothing but fall stickers, die cuts, and chipboard. I have a video listed below where I did this whole process. And so what I'm going to do is, even though these are fall supplies, you know there's brown and wood grain somewhere in here, because I'm kind of playing with those colors. I'm playing off of that autumn, cold, crisp feeling. Okay, and right here is a brown journaling spot, but that doesn't mean I have to use what it says. I could cover that up. So that would be an option. Red, I'm definitely skipping. And I just do this very quickly. So I'm looking for anything with wood or that jadeite green. Okay, skip the orange. Right there's a tree. Yeah, now here's a tree. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off, and I will put it on my wax paper, because this would be perfect for a title base or a title base or a cluster base. And so you see when I pull that off, sometimes that wax paper will lift off. So what I will do is, sometimes that happens, and I just re-adhere it with some of this Tombow Mono Liquid Aqua Glue, because that was kind of a big sticker. So rip that up a tad. And I love my stickers on this. And someone did ask me, do I have any problems getting stickers off these sheets? And I've done this system for years, and I think there was only one sticker that absolutely wouldn't come off. But I just ripped it out of the wax paper and used it anyways, because who cares if it's wax paper on the back. And so I'm still looking for that brown. And so I'm glancing at things really quickly. I don't spend a lot of time. There's the word that says family. And so this is why this is going to be perfect, because you saw how I picked out that word tradition that goes with my story. And then also, because of fall, it is heavily geared around family. So any of these things are just going to be perfect. Absolutely. Now there's more of that jadeite green that I could get into, skipping this green, and we're going to get into the brown. Okay, so there's a home. Family time. Okay, now that tree there would be good too. Ooh. Okay, well, I'm only going to pull one tree. That would be the representation that I could play with a tree. But I don't want to pull them all off, because then I got to put them all back, and I get lazy about that. No, I don't want to be lazy about that. Okay, so now here we are getting into the brown. See, I have that tree. So I will determine which tree I want, and I'm just looking for brown. And here's what I mean. Where you have, I even took some of these thickers, bits and bobs, and put in this brown. There's so many things you can do for these binders to really see your supplies at a quick manner. Now, can you imagine if I would have had to pull all my fall stickers out, whether they would have been a 4x6 or a 6x12 or a 12x12, I would have had to pull all of them out to see everything I have right here. But I do see a sticker that says, what a cute pair. Because my bro and his wife is on there. What did I just hit? Oh, there was my glue. And so then, of course, blessings, grateful, home sweet home. See, all of that has to do with family and home. Okay, right here. We have this home. Yes, we have a home. Okay, now wait, I better make sure that's the home. Okay, I know I have a lot of homes. I want something that looks wood grain, so I don't want to do that just yet. And a homespun, that would be a word. And not saying that I would use all of these, but I'm going to pull one of these little stickers too, because you could use those for little tabs. So anything that catches my eye really quick. And you see, I don't spend a lot of time, but I do enjoy this process. There is the house. Okay, so this is my Simple Stories, and this is definitely wood grain, and that's what I'm going for, wood grain. Okay, now I have a tree and a house where I use both. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Oh, I'm so grateful. Oh, it's got that tree ring. Okay, look here. I have some epoxy. That came from Pink Paisley. Those epoxy wood grain arrows. Perfect. 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 Ooh, okay, now look here. I have these. They look like a tree ring, but they have fall leaves, so I will cover them up. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Just because this is fall supplies, I'm still going to use them. Okay, and I'm just giving a quick look. Partner in crime. That would be funny for them. I honestly think in our family, they have been married the longest. I do believe. I'd have to ask him. It's up there. Yeah, I think it's in 30-some years. I do believe. Okay, now I'm looking at my die cuts here, seeing anything that would be quick. Quick. And then I have some chipboard. I don't have a lot of chipboard. So again, I'm just looking at it very quickly to see. And look, I already have the start of some embellishments. Oh, I love that basic gray persimmon. That is such a pretty line. And so I'm looking anything that's wood grain fall. There's a little bit of that jadeite, but that's more. And what do we have here? Pumpkins. Okay, I have this frame that is wood grain, and it looks like it's that mint jadeite. So I think we are going to play off of that. So then what am I going to do with what I picked? Look at those foam turkeys. Look at that. Aren't they cute? I want to show you what you can do with these. You can simply put them over embellishments. I could put the tree under there and build a cluster. And I think my title is going to be too big for that. But that is definitely a starting point. Yeah. Now wait, I had another one of them tree rings. Did I not? Let me put this away. Oh, Cardabella chipboard. I tell you what, if I had all the money in the world, I would buy every Cardabella collection. I would buy every Cardabella brad pack. I would buy every Cardabella die cut pack. And I would buy every Cardabella epoxy pack. Yes, I would. That's what I would do. You know how we dream if we had all kinds of money. And then also, if money was no object, I would absolutely, I would pay someone to print my photos and organize them. Yes, the way I would want it. Yes, okay. So there, I have a couple tree rings. I may play with them. Absolutely. Okay. See, I'm getting distracted because I see all this lovely stuff and all this fun stuff, and I'm just ready to play. Okay, I'm just looking at the brown one more time. And there's some leaves. And I'm really not going to play along with the leaves too much. I want to get in that wood grain. Oh, homespun. Happy home, falling for you. Homespun. Oh, I did already pick that. Okay, so I need to stop playing there. So that is how I start with, I mean, that's just really how I start. You see, I didn't even cut into my photos. I didn't cut in my paper. I pull out the items I want for my kit. So now that I took something like this, let me show you. This is my kit supplies. I took something like this, and now I narrowed it down to something what's just on my desk. I narrowed it down to this. So now I don't have to rifle through my whole kit to get started. You're just limiting your choices. As you did when you built that kit, you limited your whole space to that box of supplies. And now putting this on in front of me, I now narrowed my kit one more time. It's just another level of playing and in the process a little quicker. Love that frame, so I'm definitely going to be playing off of that. Will I get the stamping in? Don't hold your breath. I don't know. Sometimes I get lazy about that, but you never know. We'll see. Okay, so come back and I will have a finished page using a jumbo title and definitely playing with the wood grain element. Even though this was a fall kit, it's not going to be a fall layout, but it is definitely going to have the wood element. Okay, hold on. All right, I am back with my finished page, and it didn't take very long, basically about 20 minutes. That is how quick it is, because today is one of those days I'm tired. I don't feel like doing a lot of technique, so I relied on product. And the first thing I relied on was the page map sketch from August 2019, and it's this one down here in the bottom row, this one in the middle, because it is so simple, because it's basically a piece of paper with a little piece of paper. And so I will show you what that is. And I almost followed it. They just have like a visual triangle. I did a diagonal design because I wanted to get all 4 photos in. They had 3. I wanted to get 4. And I had said that in another video that when I'm looking at a sketch, I will change it to accommodate not only my style, but also to how many photos I want, because that is the most important part for me, is the photos. So what I simply did was I took that jadeite piece of paper. It is a 5 by 11, and then this little deer piece, which was, I'm really stretching this piece of paper. I don't know if I'll use it next week or not. And because, you know, we have kit flip, so I don't know what we're going to do. But then that deer piece is 1.5 by 11. And then, of course, for the seam, I used that wood grain washi. I have a couple wood grain washi, so I just used this one here on the right. And I just covered up that seam, and I tucked it underneath both of those pieces. And then I simply took my photos. I cut this one down a little bit, the horizontal, and I just did a little loose grid with those because that's what I wanted. I wanted my 4 photos on there because that tells the story of my bro, his wife, and you see how they're facing each other. And then, of course, a huge outdoor swing he was building for a client, and then of course this kitchen island he built for another client. So I wanted to get those on there. And of course you can see that I used, one of my goals was for when I'm building the kit J was jumbo letters, and I struggle using these because if you're going to use jumbo letters you have to have a small title, meaning in a small amount, you know, it can't be a big word. So what I did was I used build, because that's exactly what this is. It's woodworking and building and things like that. Now I definitely could use the word wood, and that's what I wanted to say in the earlier segment, but there's no sense me saying the word wood, because that's all this is woodworking in his wood shop, and that's what he does for his clients. Wood, wood, wood. But there's so much wood represented in the photos, I didn't have to do that. So that's why I used the word build. And of course, everything else is so simple, because up here at the top, I just took that tree because we're talking about wood. I'm keeping that whole wood and wood grain element to the T, and I used some wood veneer representing my brother and my sister-in-law, and then of course some tree ring, wood grain enamel dot, and then a wood grain arrow, and then I put the year 19 because that's what year this is, and I just made a little cluster with those items, and we'll talk about that cluster in just a minute. And then down here I really wanted this Simple Stories wood grain frame, and I just had it standing vertically, and I thought, oh, it's not going to work, and I moved my photos, and I thought, oh, well, I could just rotate it, and I did it in a horizontal fashion. So that's how I got that to work. My photo was just a little hair shorter than the inside of that frame, so what I did was I matted it on some of this craft cardstock. So you really can't see that the photo is shorter than the inside of the frame. And then I layered a few pieces of another piece of wood veneer, basically some of the same elements I did up here. I have a tree up here, did trees down here, and where did those trees come from? They came from that Bo Bunny paper. I did a little bit of fussy cutting because I wanted the representation of what was up here down here, and the best way to do is just cut some elements from your pattern paper. And of course a little tag, and some more wood grain enamel dot, and some jadeite enamel dots. And then of course you can see I have 2 photo corners peeking here and here. So of course a photo corner does not have to be in all of your corners. You can just pick a couple corners. And over here this was missing a little something. When you're missing a little something, this little product can do the work. Now here is my wax paper. These are the rest of the embellishments that I had pulled and I didn't use, so I will just put them back, or I will keep them there. Maybe I will use them on the next page, and then I will also do that for the scraps. Just carry it to the next layout. Easy peasy. Okay, so what else did I want to talk about? You can see with the sketch that Becky basically had a little bit of a visual triangle going on because she had a subtitle, and so I just kept mine in a diagonal design. And let's talk about the journaling for a minute, because I can do my journaling in 2 places. I can put my journaling down here, okay, and I could make sure it's short enough that I don't cover up this deer, or I could put my journaling up here. So actually, if you had a lot of journaling, you could do both of that. So I will look at a bird's eye view and I will see, because basically that's the same amount of journaling, and I just want to definitely put on there. I just asked my brother how long he's been doing this, and he said 32 years. So I want to make sure I get that 32 years on there. And so if you look at this cluster up here at the top, I just used a tree to start and I built up from that. And maybe that's what we'll talk about in Kit Flip because someone asked me to show that. And so down here, I just started with the frame and I just built up from that. So if you notice in this cluster here, how many elements do we have? Let me find something to point. I'll use my pencil. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, an odd number. Now down here, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Odd number. So whenever you're doing any type of clusters, whether it's in a visual triangle or in this case it's a diagonal design, when you're building something like that, just stick with that odd number. And I have no idea why that works so well. They say because the odd numbers, your eye can find the middle. I think it's just because you can get a little bit of a shape with an odd number of items rather than, I guess it's that visual triangle. That's what it is. It's that visual triangle. It's that point of 3 interest. And so an odd number, you can find that point of 3. I think that's what it is. So even when I do a diagonal design, I'm still keeping that odd number in my mind when I'm doing that. So of course the background is this lovely Cartabella paper. And I will flip this over so you can see what it is. It is, it is a beach piece of paper. That's what it is. And you can see that my wood grain is going vertically. And how did I decide whether I wanted my my wood grain vertical or did I want my wood grain to go horizontal? So what you do in that case is you look within your photos, you look within your story. Well, how is most of your things going? And so I looked at my photos, this photo here of my brother, and of course he's standing vertically, and so is my sister-in-law. But then some of these elements in the background, they were standing vertically. And so that's why I kept my background of this wood grain. The design itself, I kept it going this way rather than this way. So look within your photos, see how the lines and the people are running in your photos, and then that helps you with picking your placement of your wood grain or anything that has lines. Okay, so then of course this Cartabella paper is lovely on its own. This is why I say if you're going to spend 99 cents, buy something like Cartabella because then it can serve as a background. Absolutely, because it's sturdy enough to hold all of these embellishments and this photo and that jumbo title. But I wanted to show you that you simply can dress things up as you go. So let's just take this Cartabella and let's see what it would look like if we gave it a mat. And so I'm in the season where I seem to be matting things, and so this gives me a frame. And of course in woodworking and anything with building, framing is a part of that. So I definitely could trim this down just a hair on 2 sides and give that and give yourself a mat. And then with that, if you want to take your layout to the next level, let's do something again. How about we do a double mat? And then in this case, a double mat of 2 shades of brown. One is a milk chocolate brown, the other one is getting into a dark chocolate. So that again, if you're looking up here, see how again that's framing everything. So the more mats that you add to your page, and I definitely think, I'll look at this when I do some editing, and I really do think, and you'll see it in the close-up at the end, I really think I'm definitely going to do a mat, maybe 2. It depends on how how it looks. I really like this double matting, but I don't have a lot of room to be cutting things down. So it may just be 1 mat. So it'll either be in the milk chocolate or the dark chocolate. Absolutely. Now I want a piece of candy. Absolutely. Okay. Hershey, where are you? Absolutely. So I just wanted to show that. So when you are working with a piece of paper and it looks good, but maybe it needs another notch, try a mat, and then maybe even a double mat. Absolutely. So that is how Kit Krunch is going to land this week. And so that means come back next week at this time and we will do a kit flip. Now, a lot of my papers are all fall papers. And so the kit flip of these 2 would be this. And I had something else, a scrap of yellow. But I will tell you, this has no interest to me whatsoever. So in kit flip next week, we may do a flip of something else. Yeah, so hang on for that. So that's all I have for RTS. Come back. You never know what we're gonna do. Bye.